All right, Mary, don't look back at the camera so that you're not on camera, okay?
Alrighty.
So you have face straight. You can start now. I'm gonna grab my water. If you need water, you good?
Huh?
Yes, you need water.
I have some. They gave me some at the church.
Okay. I gotta have this for my throat.
This is here.
Let's see. Give me that on camera when I ask his name. Okay? And I'll look at it.
You have it started?
All right, so let's do this first. Do you mind prayer first?
Go ahead.
All right. Lord, we just thank you so much for this day, and we just thank you for Mary's presence. And if you feel that there's folks out there, or if the folks out there that are watching this video, to help a person out, that's what this is for. It's not about me. It's not about anything other than that. Amen. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Stone Solid Productions. Today with me are two fine, beautiful women, my wife Jessica and Miss Mary. So if you've seen the first video, there's been about 276 of you that have seen the video. We want to try to make this video get a lot bigger, see if we can help her out, all right? So, good morning, Mary.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jessica.
Good morning.
Could you state your first and last name for me?
It's Mary Nelson.
Mary Nelson. And could you spell your first and last name for me?
M-A-R-Y. Nelson, N-E-L-S-O-N.
Yes, ma'am. And first and foremost, I thank you for the opportunity. One thing I admired about you when I'm at work, and I listen to you people. One thing, there's an old movie called The Breakfast Club. I don't know if you remember that old movie. Well, the janitors in the movie, they always hear things. I'm not a janitor. I mean, I do some janitorial work.
Yeah.
But they're the eyes and they're the ears of places, and they're often ignored.
Yeah.
And often stepped on. And when I would go to the park with my fellow workmates, there's a fellow over there I work with by the name of Eugene.
Yeah.
And he's a good man. I didn't know it, chemotherapy, my memory, I forgot we used to ride motorcycles together.
Oh, okay.
I said, what's your last name? He said, because we're friends. He says, he's in one of our videos. Hey, Eugene. He was there the day we rescued the cormorant bird, y'all.
Alrighty.
And I said, what's your last name? He says, Eugene Taylor. I said, you any kin to? The first time I learned what kin to means, I'm from Miami. I don't know what kin to means.
He in a relation to the pastor Eugene Taylor?
Yes, ma'am.
Doris Taylor is his mama?
Yes, ma'am. Pokey Taylor. So Pokey and I were good friends. We slept together in a car similar to this in Daytona. Me and Gary Jenkins, if you know Gary Jenkins, Gary Dean.
Yeah, I know him. I think he's in Panama now, I believe.
I don't know, but my best friend works in Sun Lakes and where we live. Love you, Gary. What's up, brother? I hope you see this. So it's a small world. But we used to ride together 30 years ago, and I didn't even know. We didn't even know each other.
Okay.
So chemotherapy and radiation kind of messes you up sometimes.
Yeah.
That's why I cough too. Why I drink iced coffee. I love my iced coffee. So you have your scruples about you. You're able to spell your first and last name.
Yeah.
You drive a cool Excursion that you live out of. And that's what this goal is. We're going to try to get you out of the Excursion and into some place. If you want, and if you desire. You said yes. I love that. What is your husband's name? Because tell me what happened to your husband. Why people want to know why you're living in an Excursion. Are you crazy?
Well, no.
You're not crazy. What? No, I didn't think so.
Maybe about 15 years ago, he was having a problem with his knee. And someone suggested he have the implants, what you call it?
A knee replacement.
Yeah.
They cut you from here to here?
Yeah, right straight down up there.
Yes, ma'am.
But anyway, he got both legs done.
Same time? Okay.
Right. Dr. Nelson, I think, recommend this doctor too. I forgot the man's name, but he out of Winter Haven. So he was doing good, and he was working at the school, high
board?
school. Yeah.
Okay.
And then he was doing doing a different thing over here to Winn-Dixie. He worked there for about 20 years.
Okay, so your husband wasn't some crackhead.
Mm-mm.
Okay, he wasn't out on the corner hustling.
No.
He wasn't throwing dice up against the wall. He wasn't
No.
gambling. He wasn't doing that bull
No.
bonky. Sorry, I
He was
almost.
working every day of the week.
So school board, and then hustling at WD, and that was here
Right.
in Highlands County.
That's it.
Okay. All right. So come on, keep on telling me about what happened.
Well, it got so bad that he couldn't hardly walk his legs.
Okay.
So he decided to go ahead on and have the surgery. Got that done. So he was doing good. He went back to work. He worked till 2011. He retired from the school board. So we packed up our stuff and we went to Dallas, Texas. We moved there. We stayed there about 3 years.
So you left Highlands County.
Mm-hmm.
You went to Dallas, Texas, 3 years.
Right.
Okay.
So we was there, but it was so cold, it was snowing there. So I told him we got to do something else different here. So we came back a little bit to Lafayette, Louisiana. That was good, and he tried to find a Winn-Dixie there, and he did, but where we were staying at, it was too far to drive backwards and forward to work.
And
So-
were y'all driving this? That's
Right.
expensive in gas. I don't even care if that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That's expensive in gas
He got that for my birthday.
for your birthday.
August
August what?
30th.
August 3rd. We can edit that out. My wife is August 15th.
Yeah, she just mentioned that.
Now you have, I don't want to get sidetracked because I do with chemo and there's a lot of questions. You also have a connection with my wife. My wife just got surgery and I told you about
Right.
it the other day when we talked. Cataract, she's 100% blind in her right eye and
Yeah.
you were blind in your left eye.
Yeah, they had to scrape that stuff off of there and do the implant.
They did an implant and Jessica just got her implant. So we've got a lot of connectivity with Eugene Taylor,
Yeah,
with cataracts, with birthdays, and it's almost like why?
yeah.
So what is your husband? Okay, so you went out Texas 3 years, and then what kind of started to break apart? What happened?
He just started, his legs started bothering real bad. So he went to the physician there. So they gave him some kind of medication for it. I'm assuming that it helped some. But okay, while we was in Louisiana, he got surgery done on that leg because they told him that that implant or whatever that thing is was rejecting his body. So he done that. We stayed there a little while, maybe about a couple of years, and we moved back to Orlando, Florida. And they done surgery on him maybe about 4 times.
So 4 surgeries after the major surgeries,
Right.
but continually going to the doctors, correct? Okay.
And they seemed like they couldn't get it right. So they sent him to rehab. They gave him a whole antibiotics. Every day they gave him that stuff.
Did you ever consult an attorney at all for maybe for malpractice, medical malpractice?
No, I did not.
You did not. Okay. Maybe that's something that y'all need to look into.
But he seemed to got a little bit better, so they discharged him from the nursing home.
We got a plane going by. We can edit that out. We normally don't edit our videos, so we'll just keep on going.
But
Orlando.
he seemed to have been doing good. So we started looking for an apartment. We had to fill out application, and he done that. He was in a wheelchair.
Now, was this government housing or was this?
No.
No. So he was in a wheelchair. Okay, so did you work?
No.
So he took care of you.
Well, I guess so.
Well, I mean, it sounds like he worked and you stayed at home.
Yeah, I did.
So it's kind of like the old-fashioned marriage,
Right.
like what I do with my wife.
Yeah.
She stays home with our sons and
Yeah.
homeschools them. So it's my job as the man to go out and work. Sounds like that's what your husband did for
Yeah.
you. Okay.
But before all this other surgery came along, they found out he had prostate cancer. They done surgery on him. They said they caught it because it had spread it a tad bit. So he had to take about 40 treatments. He had to go to Sarasota to take those treatments.
40 treatments.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay.
So he seemed to have been doing better. But I thought, they said those knee implant replacement last a long time, but they don't.
What was the treatment? It wasn't hyperbarics, was it? Did he go into a tank and go diving in a tank for hyperbaric treatment in Sarasota? Do you remember?
Mm-hmm. They put him in that big old round thing.
Well, for my throat, I did the same thing for 30 days. So this is not scripted. Our subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
So we have now another connection. I did that for 30 days, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. 2 people I saw in that tube died. One fella got a nail in his toe. Didn't hate God, didn't hate life. Nice old man. They took half of his foot. First they took his toe.
Yeah.
Then they took his foot.
Mm-hmm.
While we're in there for those couple weeks, he came back in and they took half his leg. And you know what he told me on our last dive? He said, "You're gonna be okay, Michael."
Yeah.
I would have been mad you take my leg.
Uh-huh.
I'd have been mad at.
But they didn't mention nothing about ever taking nothing off of him. He was all good. They thought he was a diabetic, but he was not.
So diabetic he was?
No.
No diabetes.
Mm-mm.
Because a lot of people in the community, you know, they seem to pass judgment on folks and like, well, they don't eat proper. I saw you this morning. You was eating a fruit cup.
Yeah.
So you eat healthy.
Yeah.
You're a very healthy woman. One of the things that I admire about you, when I was saying about the park, I didn't get to finish it, but I see you when you brush your teeth, and I see you when you're combing your hair. You always have Jesus music on.
Yeah. I got a blow dryer. I have to have that straighten it out some.
Well, you look great. I think you look fantastic. Not all women like to be on camera. My wife, she don't like to be on camera. So your husband's first and last name, you have a picture of him?
Yes.
And what is his first and last name?
Thomas Edward.
Thomas Nelson.
Thomas Edward Nelson.
He's got an afro of white hair.
Yeah.
He's a good look. You got a full goatee too. He's a good look.
I didn't like that thing.
You get that thing. He's a good looking dude. And you miss him, yes.
He was all right, yes. We used to do a lot of traveling. See, I can't do it all by myself. And he was a good driver, and I found out that he could drive on that ice out there in Texas.
Right.
That was good, but he would let me drive while we was out there. He done all the driving.
He done it all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we covered that you stayed out of Louisiana, Mississippi. You were born and raised in Louisiana.
I was born in Louisiana and I raised up in Mississippi.
Raised, so you're a Southern girl like her.
Yeah.
All right. So did you ever walk around barefoot? You got one barefoot right now. I'm not gonna tell the camera that too much, but ain't nothing wrong with being barefoot. So your husband passed. Now you shared with me that you had 2 children. You lost 1 child in a miscarriage, correct?
Yeah.
All right. How old were you when that happened?
About 18.
18. That you were just a kid yourself.
Yeah.
And then you had a second child pass on?
The first one was a boy. He was born.
Yes, ma'am.
And the second one was a miscarriage. It was a girl. I want to know what was that. So God showed me both of them. One was a girl, and the other was the boy.
Yes, ma'am.
And they was playing together. They was happy.
Yes, ma'am.
Like children do, like if they was outside playing. That's the way I seen it in the dream.
Wow. So you had peace given to you.
Yeah.
Well, I think sometimes the only place is that God relationship that people can get peace from. I agree.
Then I have a stepdaughter. Her name is Tracy.
She's still around?
Yeah.
Is she in Highlands?
I'm thinking she might be out of the state of Florida.
She's out of state. So do you have a connection? You have one family, a cousin. You told me you visit here?
Yeah, her name is Etha.
Etha?
Yeah, E-T-H-E-L.
E-T-H-E-A.
E-T-H-E-L.
E-L.
That's
Ethel.
the way they
Ethel.
spell it. I don't know.
Ethel. I got you. Now, money-wise, when your husband worked, how long was he with the school board, and how long was he at Winn-Dixie?
He was there at the grocery store maybe about 20 years.
About 20 years?
Mm-hmm.
So they had pensions at Winn-Dixie back in the day.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, 20 years.
And at the school board, maybe he was there about 21 there.
So we got a man that wasn't out gambling,
No.
taking care of his wife. That's the duty of a man.
Yes.
And he worked for 40 years combined to make sure that if he passed away, you'd be okay.
Yeah, that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to get that full benefit of that Social Security.
Social
So
Security.
he done that. Uh-huh.
So you get pension-wise,
Yeah.
everything from him. And so
Uh-huh.
how much do you get a month? About 1,900, you said?
16.
1,600.
But it was 19, but he was in a program they called the drop.
Yes.
And I was getting that, but they cut it off. They said I couldn't get it anymore.
So the drop program money's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is there any money from Winn-Dixie coming in?
No, I called them. I asked about that. They said he was in. He had a choice to choose. He chose the wrong thing.
So the money's all gone.
Yeah.
Okay. The
The
money's
only
gone.
thing is that it's just his Social Security is coming.
Just his Social Security.
Mhm.
Okay. So gotcha. Now we already covered you're not crazy.
No.
I ain't ever seen you out there with your pants off, and you know, because
No.
Mary, we got that now. Because there's a thing here. It's called envyism. You know
What
what?
is that?
I'm gonna tell you what envyism is. So you're looked on. I was homeless for a year. I'm not gonna make this about me, but I lived with a bunch of different people for about a year of my life.
Yeah.
My family doesn't even know about it, and most of the people I had relationships with don't know about it. When I ran for county commission,
Mm-hmm.
I barely talked about it
Yeah.
because it scars you, it hurts you, it cuts you. But it's called envyism.
Yeah.
What envyism stands for, homelessness is it's okay with people as long as it's not seen.
Yeah.
See, Mary, people like us,
Mm-hmm.
I have a home now, but I didn't. We're okay
Mm-hmm.
as long as we're not seen,
Yeah.
okay? Envyism stands for not in my backyard.
Yeah. Okay.
So go be homeless.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are okay, go be homeless.
Yeah.
Now, you're not taking advantage of food stamps. You're not taking advantage of a system, are you?
Well, they gave me $23 for.
This is not scripted. This is all, excuse me, Mary, excuse me, Jessica. This is hand scratch written on the way here. How much?
$23. I went to.
I'm going to reiterate that.
I went to apply for more, but they wouldn't give it to me.
So you get $23
Mm-hmm. And that's about it. That's all.
a day,
A month.
a month.
Each month.
So I'm trying to figure out that's less than a cup of coffee a day.
It could be. If you go in the Starbucks.
Starbucks are $5. So Highlands County, y'all think we could help a woman whose husband gave his life here in Highlands County? How many of y'all passed her husband at Winn-Dixie? How many of y'all maybe even went to school with her husband at the school board?
Yeah.
So we got another connection, you and I, here in Avon Park.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie and Josie Caldwell.
Yeah.
Now, did we script this? Did we call each other and talk about this, or did we just find this out today?
Just today.
Just today. I owned a restaurant.
Yeah.
I apologize. We started in 1974 at the tower in Lake Placid. You know the big tower?
Yeah. I think they done some work. They built a house or something down there. In Lake
Don't know.
Placid.
They're doing something crazy down there. They got a restaurant going in.
Yeah.
My daddy started a restaurant there, a fish market there called Two Captains.
Yeah.
He was a sea captain from Miami.
Oh, okay.
And the ladies at the bank would go, "Hey, Captain Jack, could you cook us lunch
Yeah.
at the market? Catfish, grouper." And he said, "Okay." So he put a 2x4 table and chair in.
Yeah.
And then ladies from the bank told more ladies at the bank, because ladies at the bank around here get hungry.
Yeah.
They get
yeah.
real hungry. I don't know. My wife used to work at Bank of America here in Avon Park.
Yeah.
Remember that crazy guy that went through the drive-through with the bomb? Remember that dude?
Was I still there?
It was a pipe bomb. He went in there and told him he had a pipe bomb and all that. So
I think it was in Texas, and I believe, but I heard about it.
there's some crazy sometimes in Avon Park,
Yeah.
but you're not one of
Yeah,
them.
No.
You're not. All right.
I know better.
You think I'm one of them?
No.
All right. Let's move on. So Ronnie and Josie, in 1986, 1987, I was running the one down in Lake Placid cooking, and my dad started running the one up in Sebring we built together.
Yeah.
And when I was 16 years old, my dad started to get sick with cancer. Now here I am, I've had my cancer. I don't want people feeling sorry for me. I'm trying to teach people how to live a different life, how to live a better life. You know, how to live a better life. But Ronnie and Josie Caldwell, homegrown right here in Avon Park, you knew them.
Yeah, I do know them. I met them. My husband had went there to find out about some fish because his auntie was coming from Tampa here, so he was going to try to get some for them for her.
Some fish.
Uh-huh.
They did a lot of fishing back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
I think they did that. Help did that shopping, that little shopping center out there, whatever that is.
Which
Didn't
one?
they? Right out here, right off of 27 there.
It's not the Winn-Dixie Plaza.
Nah.
The one across the way.
The one right there by the red light on 27 here.
CVS?
Huh?
CVS or Walgreens?
No, not that one. Further, about on the same street where they
Where
stayed.
Dollar General.
Where Mr. Styles it was? Mr. Styles, the clothing store and all that down there?
It may have been, I don't know.
I don't know. But you're saying they helped build the complex.
Yeah.
Well, that's our connection. Another one, crazy other one. We covered Captain Jack's that. Got that done. So I lived out of a Camaro for about a year. I would sneak into my first girlfriend's house at night.
Yeah.
Till after about 9 months, I got caught. I slept on the floor.
Yeah.
Ate their food. Home life was bad. It was not great.
Yeah.
But you surround yourself with people who can protect you.
Yeah.
Mary, you ain't got nobody with you.
Mm-mm.
I hung out with dudes. You know where Highway Park is? Lake Placid?
No, I don't deal down there.
Well, down in Lake Placid, down in the Martin Luther King area and stuff like that, it's called Highway Park. It's the set, they called it, the hood.
Yeah.
When I was a young man, I used to run down there. And when you start to get picked on by people because your sister at the time was dating a darker colored person,
Yeah.
you become hated by a certain group of people. And I was targeted.
Yeah.
I also wore spandex shorts back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm not being weird, but I used to cycle a lot. So you'd be called names when you were cycling by people with big old pickup trucks in the 80s. You can only imagine what they'd call you. The fag word or gay word and queer and this and that, and then not nice words along with it. So I surrounded myself with fellas that taught me how to fight.
Yeah.
And I started to fight. And one of them now is in prison. And you got to be careful with homelessness. I would stay at his house down in Highway Park. It was a trailer.
Yeah.
It's a funny story. I want these guys to hear it. So people see me sometimes with, fancy sunglasses on or doing these projects. They think, oh, you got money, you're rich. I would stay at a trailer in Highway Park. And inside that trailer, there were 4 couches with the big screen TV at night. Young people stay up late at night and partying and stuff like that. I didn't drink. I didn't do drugs. My friends did.
Yeah.
So I was the guy that drove them. My dad, Captain Jack, would have killed me if I drank. And I showed up one night, and there was always different people on that couch.
Yeah.
And he told me they were his cousins. Sometimes it'd be, I don't use color. I see you as human.
Yeah.
And there'd be black folks on the couch one night.
Yeah.
My cousin. That made sense. But then I come back and there's white folks on the couch.
Yeah.
And I come back another time, there's a Mexican dude. And I got a son who's half Mexican, so don't go there. So I'm going, am I at a crack house? I was hanging out in a crack house.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know it. That man now that I hung out with, I counted him my best friend. He stole $20 from me.
Yeah.
And I cut him off. I later became a sheriff deputy, and I saw him in jail. He's now in prison for rape and molestation of a 12-year-old, allegedly. You have to do that on YouTube, allegedly, for raping and molesting a young girl under the age of 12.
Yeah. Oh.
There was another fella, he's dead now, his name's Hector Roebuck. Hector, we'd find places to sleep.
Yeah.
Gary Deasy,
Uh-huh.
Sam Aponte, but one of my friends was truly homeless. His name was Chuck the writer.
Yeah.
And I called Chuck up and I told him that I was sorry one day. I was like, you know, if I ever was a jerk to you. And he said, you weren't ever a jerk, but he was probably one of my best friends ever. Chuck, if you're listening to this,
I did meet Miss Bagwell. I had gave out a gas, and I walked down there to buy a can. So she said,
that's Betsy Bagwell.
right there.
Yes, ma'am.
Gary.
Gary and Betsy, nice
Yeah.
people.
Uh-huh.
Their son Rusty.
Right. She let me hold a can for, I think it was 25, but it was more than that. So she was saying, well, here go the can. Are you going down there to get? I told her, no, I'm not walking down there to get no gas because it just was cracking daylight. She said, don't worry about it. The lady put me in her ride, went down there and bought that gas, come back, and she tried to put it in there herself.
Betsy's good
But
people.
some kind of thing was going on with the can. So she said, I called Mr. Hicks and have him to come up here and put that gas in that car. She done that. That was so nice of her, I thought.
Everybody thinks that they're rich folks.
Yeah.
And she told me, she says, you know, my husband, their family works. And everybody thinks that when you're a working family,
Yeah.
like you and your husband, that you're just rich. I bet people judge you because you have a fancy excursion, you
I
know?
don't know what they do because I try to stay in church.
I see you.
I like prayer, and prayer gets you where you want to go.
Yes, ma'am.
I keep telling my relatives that get prayer.
Yes, ma'am.
It'll keep the devil off of you.
Yes, ma'am.
But I don't think they're doing that.
Well, you are. That's
Yeah.
all that matters. But back to Betsy Bagwell. She just shared with me. She says, you know, everybody thinks that I'm some rich little girl. And she says, my family struggled. She
Yeah.
says, we knew what it was like to have. Betsy, I think she told me bags of flour back in the day that were
Yeah.
delivered to your house.
Yeah.
You know? So people don't need to judge, do they?
No, they do not.
I will tell you, I ended up out of homelessness after a house fire left me homeless, really homeless. A sister that I used to admire,
Yeah.
a sister I used to count as friend. Even though she stole from me a little bit one time, I forgave her,
Yeah.
and she took me in. I guess I got to somehow try to forgive her again. But anyways, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what's going on in the world, because you don't have connectability to like YouTube and all that stuff. So we're gonna, when this video ends, we're gonna show you the first video, and then from there, when we get this one edited, we'll show it to you before it gets aired.
Alrighty.
All right, and we're gonna stick it all over Highlands County, so and nobody can see it. Miss Mary requested, just like my wife, she hates to be videoed. It's the reason why you don't ever see my wife on the videos. 7.2 current federal interest rate to get a home. Right now, I met I met a man here in Highlands County from Hawaii.
Yeah.
He's been forced out of Hawaii
Mm-hmm.
because he can't afford to live in his own homeland. I know it's America,
Mm.
but it's his homeland.
Yeah.
And he says, we've been priced out.
Mm-hmm.
He's with the building department here at the county.
Okay.
And I'm sorry I forgot your name. But aloha. It's everywhere, Mary. We watch people in LA.
Yeah.
We went to LA how long ago? 8 years?
2015, 2016.
So 8 years ago, 7 years ago. And you drove through beautiful, beautiful mansions.
Yeah.
And then you drove through people living in tents everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean every street. Not just a place called Skid Row.
Yeah.
It's in Colorado,
Mm-hmm.
Miami. It's in Tampa. It's here in Highlands County.
Yeah.
You're here in Highlands County.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not a Skid Row person, are you?
No. Uh-uh.
So how can people afford a 7.2 point interest rate on a house loan? It's funny because I talked to my mom. My mom said, well, back in the day you paid 20%,
Yeah.
but houses weren't $500,000 either.
No, it was not.
On this last question I have for you, I got nothing else. How do you stay so clean? You said you shower
Yeah.
at a thrift store.
Right. They got one there. They maybe got about 4 of them right there.
About 4 places.
Mm-hmm. You can take a shower, and then I go to the laundromat and wash my clothes whenever I get my little benefits.
And McDonald's for Wi-Fi, I'm guessing.
That didn't work. I have a computer in there, but I just got to I'm going to let them, the library ladies, look at it and see if there's anything wrong with it.
If there's anybody watching this video on the technical end of things, I have a friend of mine. I don't refer to people I work with as I call them my workmates.
Yeah.
And I call some of them friends. And I think I've become friends with one of the guys. His name's Matt.
Yeah.
Become friends with a guy named Mitchell Strickland's worked here for 20 years. City manager's a pretty cool guy. His name's Mark.
Yeah.
The mayor is a really nice young man. His name is Gary Anderson. There's just a lot of good people, men and women.
Yeah.
A lady by the name of Jeanette says she knows you.
Yeah.
So Andy, there's just Danielle, Melody, Chrissy, Liz. I mean, I can go on to Michael, and I mean, we think we got 100 Michaels that we work with.
Uh-huh.
I want to say that as a person, in case you're not told every day this, I love you. I think you're a good person.
I try to be.
No, you don't try. You are.
Well, I was taught the life that you live gonna speak for you.
Oh,
If
Jose.
you live
the
a
li-
regular life, staying on the streets up there all time of the night with James' husband or Sue husband, it's not good.
I'm
The
listening.
Bible tell us a woman have her own husband and a man have his own wife. And the missionaries say, you stay home and see about your husband. You iron his clothes. Don't let him go out there all wrecking all up. And if you got kids, clean the nose. Put them on clean clothes.
I agree. You don't want to walk around with dirty drawers. Nobody wants dirty drawers.
But they told us that in church, those missionaries. And they're supposed to. The Bible tells them. The older women teach the young women how to treat their family.
Yes, ma'am.
I learned that. It wasn't easy at time, but I had to go through some things. And I did. My stepmom didn't like me. I couldn't help about what my mom done and my father, because I don't think he was married to her during that time. So I came along. But she just didn't care for me. I have a stepsister and she's a lawyer. She's in some part of Texas. My brother, my baby brother, he's deceased maybe about 8 years ago. So it just left me in the immediate family.
Well, you know, stepmothers and stepfathers, and nowadays, just even old regular folks can be pretty evil and mean.
Yeah. I don't want to be like that. Like my stepdaughter, I want to treat her as though she was my real daughter. Do anything for her that I can do. That the Lord bless me to do it for her, I do it. That's the way I am.
And so I get your quote right. I'm going to play it back 100 times tonight and edit this. But you said the life that you live speaks
Yeah,
speaks to what? Speaks to
people.
Speaks
They can
to
see
people.
what kind of life I'm living. Is it a regular life or whatever? Cause God looking at me, and I got to live this sanctified life. You can't talk, and you got to live this thing.
I don't have any more questions for you. I'm begging. I'm not a rich guy. My wife stays at home. She takes care of our sons.
Yeah.
But if I had $750,000, let's say, I'd be helping you.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of people that have the opportunity right now that could, let's say there's, quick math, let's say there's 50,000 of you in Highlands County. And if you just gave $1 to a GoFundMe page, that's all you had is $1. Instead of your Starbucks, instead of your what else? What else do people waste money on? Instead of McDonald's that breakfast, instead of Dairy Queen that morning, instead of something,
Yeah.
just $1. That's $50,000 you could help Mary if there's 50,000 of you that could see this. So I'm asking, can you help Mary? You can hit stop.